Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Shenila, where we explore the ideas, leadership, and experiences shaping the future of project management. I'm Sheila Makhani, and I am delighted to have you with us today. Today's conversation is one that almost every professional experiences at some point in their career, you can say, in the lifespan of his career. It's called from leader to expert, or you can say from expert to leader, the identity shift no one talks about. So many of us spend years becoming experts. We master our craft, we solve difficult problems for people and for ourselves both, and we become the person everybody relies on. Naturally, those accomplishments often lead to promotions, but something interesting happens after that promotion. The very behaviors that made us successful as experts don't always make us successful as leaders. Instead of solving every problem ourselves, we now need to solve, or you can say empower others to solve those problems. So instead of being recognized for individual excellence, our success becomes measured by the success of our team. And that's where many talented professionals struggle. So now, not because they lack capability, but because leadership requires an entirely different mindset. So today's is actually the conversation about that shift of that mindset, right? Which we usually never realize when the role is changing, but it gradually comes on. So, and to help us explore this journey today, I'm delighted to welcome someone who has spent years in leading teams. They are leaders who manage teams, and then there are leaders actually who shape people. So, today's guest has spent years helping individuals and organizing growth and in growing them and in the growth of the organization both. So, not simply by solving the problems, but by developing the people who solve them. So, his own journey from expert to executive leadership gives us a unique perspective on today's theme. And I'm delighted to welcome Ramam Atmakuri. Ramam is an accomplished executive leader with extensive experience in leadership, business transformation, organizational development, and strategy execution. And throughout his career, Ramam has worked closely with professionals, transitioning from technical expertise into leadership roles and making today's topic one that he understands not only professionally but I think personally too. So, Ramam, welcome to the conversation with Shenila. It's wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Shenila, for giving me the opportunity to actually share uh, whatever experience I have. So I'll be very happy to do this, and I hope it will be useful to people who will listen to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramam. And I am excited, to be very honest, to learn from your experience today. And honestly, it is an opportunity for me actually, to learn from your experience. So let's begin at the, we can say, very beginning of your leadership journey, Ramam. I would like to start with a very, I would say, personal question. And that could be that, when you first move into your leadership role, what surprised you the most about the transition from being an expert to becoming a leader?
What surprised me was uh, I still want to do everything myself. Okay, while my while I have a lot of people there waiting for guidance or waiting for me to make a decision or waiting to for me to plan something or help them basically even to interact with them. But I would think that okay, I'm just so I started as a software programmer and worked for about 12 years before I took up, because before I was pushed into a leadership role, it was not just by choice. So then there's a team, and I'm sitting in one corner and working and all that. So then I realized that okay, this is not the way to do things. So I have to change from what I am all these years. Then I own a responsibility for. It's like if I was a bachelor and if I get married, so then there is a different responsibility. So I also, so
Very
it's
excellent
good way of
example.
saying. Yeah, crude way of saying. So then there is a one spouse, then there are children. So your responsibility is growing. You cannot say, okay, I'm just the head of the family. It doesn't work. So I think from an expert uh, to a leader, you you may think like a vertical against horizontal role, or from a depth of knowledge to uh, sharing that knowledge across a breadth, if I would say, like a mathematics student. That's
That's
what is
fascinating.
my, that was my learning early days.
To be honest, it's a very fascinating point which you mentioned, that I was trying to do everything myself and people were waiting for the guidance of yours, which happens to, with everybody. I might have faced it myself as well if I would realize it now. So, looking back now, do you think the biggest challenge was learning new leadership skills or letting go of the old habits that actually made you successful?
I would say giving up was a good thing. In general, if we have to grow in general, whether it's a leader or expert or anything, if we have to grow right, then we have to give up some things in order to learn new things and all. It's always, that's nature. Okay. So if, meaning in unless you give up, you cannot grow actually, and that's very fundamental to what is it and all. So the domain knowledge that I have to give and all, actually one of my uh, managers at that time, a CTO, an American, he was the one who first said that, okay, why will you come over to US and manage a business unit? I told him, no, first, I have never been outside of India. I managed several teams in India, so it's a cultural difference. And I've been a technical one, not to manage a business role is different and all that. He said, Rawam, if you have good people skills, which I think you have, if you have good people skills, you can manage 10 technical guys like you very well and then make them successful instead of you being successful yourself. So just it not that you will lose all your knowledge, rather you will use that knowledge to groom more people, and in the process you will learn more things from those next generation youngsters. And also it's not at all bad. If just go and take a shot. Not that I moved to US, but I moved into a bigger leadership position. Actually, he pushed me into it. Then I also learned in that.
Great. I
That's what
think,
I would say.
yeah, there's something we all have. So, and I really appreciate that insight because this is very practical. And I think in learning, in reality, it's often about, happens that we have to unlearn some behaviors that no longer serve us. So that's a very powerful distinction. So, Ramam, if I would move furthermore into it, that, and what do you think I would really want to have an honest conversation on that, many organizations promote their highest performing experts into the leadership position, and yet surprisingly, many of those same people who were performing later on struggle,
Yeah.
right? So, why do you think that happens?
So, if you will see, before all of our IT and all of this technology, uh, post Y2K, that's from 2000 onwards, post that is the larger technology shift. But before that, like 50 years back and all, it's all about manufacturing, right? Manufacturing is the heart of economy for any country. So in manufacturing, there used to be a very, and practically, there used to be a very famous quote. These guys who are in the shop floor over several years and all that. So, for example, you'll bring him at 2 a.m. for the machine shut down. He would come and listen to a sound of the machine and say, okay, this is has to be fixed. Karke. So they have over 30 years, they have gained phenomenal knowledge and also, and they will reach what's called as a foreman is the highest in that cadre. Then they have to move to the executive cadre by default. So they move into the executive cadre. So the famous quote in manufacturing is, "We lost a great foreman and got a bad manager." Karke. Okay. So you lost all the technical skills and all of it. You made him a manager. He wouldn't want to come over there, doesn't want to come to the shop floor. He want to sit in his cabin, not talk to anybody. Even if you go to his room, then only he will give you a solution and all that. So from being a for a longer time, if we will just grow as an individual expert with all phenomenal knowledge and all that, then it's a little bit of a hard transition in if you will see in our PIMBOK in the earlier versions and all when we became PMP, they always used to say a project manager. Even now in the triangle, they say you need a domain knowledge, you need a business knowledge, and you need power skills. One part of that technical knowledge or domain knowledge is what is the depth. But if you want to become a leader, then you need that third part, all those power skills and all that. But that, I think people will learn it over time. You go do an MBA, it doesn't come just like that. So you have to just uh, try, get beaten up for some wrong things, learn it hard way, and but then just move forward. So I think that's what it is. And that's what happened to me.
Kind of agree to it because I have seen it and observed it, and might be I have done this myself too, might be, So this is something what happens. But one thing I have observed is that high performers often struggle to delegate because they have built their identity around
Correct.
delivering excellent work themselves, right? I might did the same, right?
Correct.
But why is delegation is so emotionally difficult for the experts? Is it about trust, perfection, control, or something deeper?
I think several things will come into play. Uh, First thing is that belief that I know all kind of a thing because of my all that knowledge and all that. So, and I delegated to Shenila. I don't trust that she will do the right thing, but I wanted to do it in my way, so I don't give it.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. Second one is I want to be very possessive about my knowledge. I don't want to share. My importance will be lost also. That's also a part of the problem. It can also be a ego factor that, okay, you have to ask me 10 times before I'll share something. The tacit knowledge is all in my mind, right? It is never captured, the knowledge management and all. So it's all with me. Because of my all this knowledge, I'm very popular. So if I'll share it with 10 people, then my popularity will be lost, you know? So there can be many reasons why people don't want to delegate doing it. Sometimes I'll say it's a waste of time. I would rather do it in 1 hour than training 10 people and then spending some 15 days and all that. So there are different perceptions that people will live with. Uh, and and I think, to be fair, after saying all that, unwillingness to share knowledge may be a lesser factor than all the other factors like an ego or uh, uh, feeling threatened about giving up saying and those things. Those are bigger ones than no. I just don't want to share any. There may be very small percentage like that. In general, people will share not for first time, but maybe after 10 times. But there are barriers for sharing knowledge like this, and they think that okay, relationship doesn't matter. Uh, I will keep all this knowledge, and because of all my deep knowledge only that people that I command respect from people, if I'll give up all this thing, then nobody will stop by in my office. So there are a lot of those kind of perceptions that prevent people from delegating.
Yeah, I think I agree. And what I'm hearing is actually something incredibly important because, um, these are the mind shifts that change everything, right? From the leadership perspective. So, Ramam, if expertise helps someone to earn a promotion, right? What helps later on them help them to succeed when they are actually leading people?
What helps them to succeed?
Yeah. For example, you are an
Uh,
expert, right? Definitely, your expertise have helped you in getting a promotion, but now you are at the leadership role, right? Now, what is going to help you in getting the success that because you are actually now leading people.
yeah, it's an interesting one. So slowly they will realize that uh, team success is their success. It's very important, huh? that if you are leading 10 people and all of
Mhm.
them are useless people, then you can never be successful because you are accountable now for a larger team and some larger goal than just giving an expert advisor or something and then to someone else and all. So that's a very important one. And that's the first realization, at least I had, that, okay, you are responsible for more people. A bigger mind shift eventually will happen, I think, to people if they are serious about leadership, that moving from I, my knowledge, my experience, my respect, my dignity, all of that. But everywhere there is an I. The mind shift will change when they think, okay, it's no more about I, it is about we. And there are
Yeah.
a lot of people that I have to share this knowledge. Of course, my knowledge will be useful. Instead of providing all solutions myself, now I'm going to group 10 more people and raise them to that same level of knowledge or maybe better kind of a knowledge and all. So I think they will slowly get to realize that team success is bigger than myself. If the team is successful, I am successful, right? There's no problem about it. If you will see the 2 days back in the World Cup football final, the Yamal, the guy who was there in the Spain, the 19-year-old, his pass actually has made the goal, has resulted in a goal. So he pulled all lot of defenders to one corner by dribbling, and everybody was focusing, and then his pass actually did a goal. And he made a statement. This, yes, the who scored the goal will not matter when we win the World Cup cricket. So
Yes.
neither my
My
pass
favorite.
nor the person who scored the goal matters when my country won the World Cup cricket. That is about the bigger purpose, that when you will want to go and walk in, that is the leader, then I think this slowly I will go away, I think.
I think it's an absolutely bingo, right? That was the highlight of that match, right? And it was actually, you know, you can say the only factor for winning that match because
Yeah,
they didn't buy
exactly.
a goal, right? It
Exactly.
was the one goal
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
I think,
people work as a team. So
yeah,
then you are take responsibility for your team, I think. That will happen slowly, but it will happen faster for some people. It will take a little more time to give up some of your things. It may happen slowly for some may not even do. Actually, there will be some people who want to stay as an individual performer. I just want to stay with my deep domain knowledge and retire as a deep domain. There will be people like that as well. That's a matter of choice.
I agree, and
That's what I
I
would say.
resonates. I agree, right? And I think this really resonates with me too because there's a transition when I faced, and there are many challenges, and I learned right over the period of time and from this conversation as well with you that leadership is not about having all the answers, right? It's about creating an environment where the best
Exactly.
answers can emerge from the team because that's a completely different mindset. From
Correct.
being the smartest person in the room, you have to leave that place, right, for others
Yeah.
to be that
Yeah.
smartest person. So that's defined. This actually requires a sacrifice, and you have to, do it with an open heart. You have to do it because your role is changing, right? So
Yeah.
you were the smartest. That's the reason you were at that. You are at this
I'm
role right now.
sorry. I'm laughing because I maybe think I'm the smartest person. And when I go into 10 people, I may realize I'm the dumbest among all of them. You never know. You never know, right? So
Yeah,
that you will know
I
only
agree.
when you will go and interact with people. Then you will see, oh, there is a new
Now I'm not.
knowledge. Yeah, exactly.
And this required a
Exactly.
courage. And sometimes, that's the fear factor we have. And there's the reason we don't want to
Exactly. Of
release
the
that
fear.
place, actually.
Exactly. Exactly.
I completely agree. So, Raman, I think we talked about why this transition is so challenging and what it takes to become an, effective leader. But now, I would like to make our conversation more practical because many people joining us today may have recently been promoted into leadership roles, while many others are be preparing for the next step, right, in their
Uh-huh.
careers, right? So let's discuss how this transition looks like in practice. So when you were an individual contributor, success was relatively straightforward. You complete projects, solve problems, your results are visible. But now leadership changes the equation entirely. How did your definition of success evolve as you become a leader?
So success always, I think, is linked to the value you deliver. Uh, and if we are an expert or if you are an individual contributor and all, then the value is limited to that smaller uh, area of work. Your
Hmm.
area of influence or sphere of influence is smaller. While you get into a leadership position and all that, then you are actually scaling up the value to a larger things. That's a very fundamental thing. Even as an individual contributor, if you are, I think going back to that example of the manufacturing shop floor, or if you are in an IT, then you are an ACE programmer and all. But it is just about that small unit or in that small machine in the shop
Yeah.
floor that you are an expert for. But the overall things in the biggest theme of things, you are contributing to a small part, but there are several parts that are actually resulting in the end product or the final value that you deliver to the stakeholders, to the business or to your internal stakeholders, whatever and all. And they will decide whether you did the right thing or not right. I mean, sometimes I may think I've shaken the earth, but they'll say, thank you very much, but this is useless because you never know. Right? So the value final business value, I think the purpose and the goal will change when you will move into a leadership position. On suddenly we will realize that okay, the value we can deliver in a leadership position is much bigger than what we were delivering in the past, and that we can do only with several other people through a collaboration and cannot be done all by alone, right? So I think that will hit people eventually over a period of time, faster or slower, but it'll happen slowly.
I kind of agree to it because I imagine that that can be quite uncomfortable sometimes initially, but because leaders often don't receive the same immediate recognition that they enjoy as technical experts, right?
Yes.
So so how did you adjust to finding satisfaction in your team's achievement rather than your own?
So first time when I became a lead, uh, I became a lead because of my experience actually when I joined this Dutch multinational. They were developing ERP products. So I was project lead, but the engineers were all fresh from college. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm the senior most, but also they call as project leader, and all of them are engineers and all. But I realized very quickly that their tools knowledge and their when I studied, there's no computer science. Okay. So there's just mathematics students used to do computer program. They studied computer science, master of computer applications. So they had more knowledge or more conceptual knowledge about software engineering than me. I realized that. I am a test engineer myself, or I'm a software engineer myself, or I'm a release manager myself in the good old days. But they had a much more. So I realized quickly that there are things that I can learn from them. And initially, I will just do all things myself, code myself, and all. Then I realized, no, I will let them do. Instead, I will review their code or test the parts that they have tested, that they have developed, and bring the feedback to them. Ask questions, make them realize that what is it. And if they are not getting it, then I will intervene and then pass on the knowledge and also make it more inquisitive, help them solve the problem themselves and share the knowledge, rather enable them to do this. And people were working like crazy. We turned around a project and slowly they started enjoying what they are doing and all. They see the results, they get customer feedback. Everybody in the Netherlands are talking about nice things about the thing that you've done and all. So then they started seeing the results of this collaborative approach to all these things and all. I also started enjoying it actually, working with all of those things and all. So we are just enjoying the success every now and then, celebrating things. slowly that became a kind of a norm that how we will work and all that. So it slowly it gone away. I realized that I'm actually not doing any programming, or actually at a point of time I'm a redundant fellow. I'm just trying to help them do their job better. Actually, I can be fired anytime also. That was the goal. I thought that, okay, if you are taking up responsibility for people, or if you are hiring anyone for some of those roles and all, I think we should always uh, strive to get the best, who would make that we will make our hours as redundant, not that we will be fired. Only if we are able to give up some part of the job that you are doing earlier, can you actually go up and then do some bigger things, learn new things, which will again help our team and all. So my transition happened that way. So we just grow and grow. Organization grew, more teams, things like that. That was the learning.
I think that's one of the biggest mindset shifts, professionals have to make. Because as experts, we ask ourselves, how can I do this better? But as leader, the question becomes, how can I help someone else, succeed? So that subtle change completely transformed, the way we lead, actually. So the very important thing, actually, which often comes, micromanagement,
Micromanage.
always come in the conversations like this. So, no, many leaders don't intend to micromanage, but they simply
Yes.
care deeply about quality. So, how can someone tell the difference between maintaining high standards and unintentionally limiting their team's growth?
Yeah, that's a very good one, actually. Even if you will delegate, if you will micromanage, then it'll be a nuisance to people, right? So you're all the time watching over them and all. And deep knowledge experts tend to do that one because they want to get it right, or they want to get it uh, in a way that they believe is right. I mean, someone else may disagree this is right here, but I believe this is right, so you have to do it this way. So, and they think they are helping you do that. But that micromanagement, then people will get frustrated. People will never learn anything new, actually. So you are just trying to do it becomes a bug. Rather, I think if you will just let, and many of them will, I think, eventually know also, will learn over a period of time, um, that micromanagement is not going to help individual, them as a leader, nor the team and all that. So they will learn it hard way, through performance appraisals, or through body language, or through fights, or through conflicts, or through whatever reason. So they will learn it hard way and stop micromanagement. But then there is always a possibility that first don't delegate. When delegate, micromanage. Both will go away over a period of time when they will realize that I think I think that's what will happen.
I think what I am hearing is that, um, I know, but I think that, leadership is not about proving your value every day. It's about creating opportunities for others to
Correct.
demonstrate there. So that's a
Correct.
profound shift, that one takes intentionally practice it and do it. So if you have to recommend just a few daily habits that professionals who become better leader, what would those practices would be?
Most fundamental thing I would say in my uh, belief and practice is put others before self. I think that's the most fundamental of all of those things and all. So you just be a servant leader, in other words, meaning,
Hmm.
so you just put others before you. That will solve several problems, actually. Okay. And all the time strive for share, learn and share. Both are complementary, man. Both should come together. So by sharing, you will also learn, right? So
Yeah.
you be the first one to share. If I don't share, why will you share anything with me, right? So you share in order to learn, and never think that, okay, I'm all the expert and I'll remain expert and all that. Especially in technology, you are expert for 2 years maybe.
Hmm.
With the latest technologies and all, you may be expert for 1 week. something else has changed. And so there's nobody like an expert. There are always other people who are
Hmm.
exploring new things, and they will teach you new things and all that. So I would say just work with larger teams, share and learn. It will enrich. But your people's success is your success. That's it. And there's no separate thing as your success only. It'll never happen.
Hmm.
It's not in the scheme of things up for discussion on the table. Your people's success is your success, period.
Very
I said,
true.
no, 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 only Ramam is successful for it. It can never happen like that,
Hmm.
right? Nobody can be successful just by themselves and all that. So build your team, make them successful, serve them well, be happy. I
Very
think that's
practical.
my, yeah.
Very practical suggestion, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
So, Ramam, now I would like to ask a slightly more personal question. So, looking back at your younger self, Ramam, the version of Ramam who was just stepping into the leadership, what advice would today's Ramam will give him?
Uh, have courage to take risks. Okay. Have courage to say no, and have courage to make some difficult decisions. In the larger interest, if you will take, it may look difficult, but if you have a conviction that this is the right decision to meet a larger goal of, or the larger purpose of the organization and all that, then just go and do it. So, willingness to take risks, uh, making difficult decisions, and having the courage to say no. These things I think I learned over a period of time after after going through some stress for not doing these things, or even to do these things and all that. And they could know I should have done this already, made this decision already 2 weeks back. Why did I procrastinate out of fear, or out of more, they say paralysis by analysis. So you
Hmm.
keep on analyzing. There will be always, you want to buy a home, example, if it is 50K, we will always fall short by 10K or 15K that you have to go and run. Likewise, you want to buy a car, you will buy the best car that you like, you will fall short by 25K. This is nature life. So you will fall short. You will never get, you will never have all the information and data sometimes to make decisions,
Hmm.
especially decisions for people and all that. But you should have a conviction that at that time, if you are taking in the best interest of your team and your organization and all, just have that courage to take that risk and make a decision, move forward and all. I think those things, the earlier we learn and fail fast and learn fast and then make it, I think that's what I would encourage, especially in these days, current world where things are all changing. People say
Hmm.
generation is not between dad and son. It is 5 years is the generation gap and all. It should be the speed with which we respond to things, respond to whatever, should be much faster than what it was in that far in my generation or my times. I think that's important.
I love that perspective, Ramam, because it's amazing, how experience changes our understanding of leadership. Early in our careers, we often think leadership is about having the answers and everything, right? And taking time and getting the things done perfectly. But really, later we realize it's much more about might
Yeah.
be asking better questions to ourselves and to
No,
others,
no,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think we have covered so many valuable insights today, and I would now like to, invite some questions from our audience who have joined us live. So, and I think I have received two questions right now. So let's focus on that. So I think let me just read. Okay, so what advice would you give someone managing former peers, right, for the first time?
Excellent. I did that and got beaten and learned it. So I'll share that with you. So we were, if my colleagues would listen, they will endorse what I'm saying. So we were like 11 project leads in that organization when they started in India in 95. Uh, I got promoted as general manager in 98, 3 years later. My communication team has written an article at that time. First among equals, करके they did an interview with me. It didn't occur to me what is it. And these 10, 11 of our peers, right, they are all more or less with 8 to 12 years of experience at that time. So we're more or less same age group. And we had a boss who started that organization, gentleman, Mr. Ramnathan is his name. So, and among this 10, 11 people who were one Chedi Buddy those one very younger days friend from our colony, another one from a classmate. So we are a very close knit guys that we will talk good things, bitch about everything, discuss everything from cricket to all of those. And suddenly, then I was made the general manager, and then I had to make some. Then it's completely changed, and I used to struggle a lot to convey any difficult communication to them. Like, for example, their project is not going on very well and they are not acting on it. I watched, but in the beginning days, I watched it for a little longer time than what I should have actually. And that's because I was hesitating to tell my peers that you should do this one. So, like that, I delayed sometimes making some of the decisions or taking them to task if something is not being done and all. So I delayed that one. Then I realized later on that if I don't do that, it is against their interest as well as an organization interest. So if I am a true friend to them, and if I am a, so I decided that okay, this I should take head on. There's no way that I can escape this from my leadership position. So I thought at the right moment, I'll tell them, but I'll also tell them to see, only I can tell you this one, right? From my position, I only understand this and only I can tell you. If I don't tell you, then you will fail. This is hard what I'm communicating to you, but my conviction is that this feedback will help your project and help your team, and then it'll make you more successful than what it is in all. So although it is hard for you to hear, you may hate Ramam for this, but you will realize after 6 months that this has helped you and all. So I used to have that very open conversation with them, sometimes in private, sometimes outside the office, sometimes on a Sunday, sometimes in a bar, whatever it is. But that open communication actually has helped. And we still remain friends, by the way. This is 20 plus years past, 25 years. We
Oh,
still
wow.
meet every now and then. We have no, you, what happens in office stays in office. We go again in the evening somewhere and then go to a movie or watch a cricket match. That's all different. These are different. So we maintain that kind of relationship. But I should give that credit to also to my those colleagues who actually respected what I did or helped me and I helped them. So it's their kindness, actually, I would say, for allowing me to function in that role and then made me feel good. So it's great to that.
Great. So I think this was a wonderful question, but out of the way, just would like to know how many years of experience you have, Rama, when you are quoting this experience from 20, 25
Uh,
years ago.
so I started work in 82 as programmer. Like it's about 44 years back.
Something is coming to my mind. I'll tell you as a offline.
Okay.
Okay. So the second question I have received for you is that, how do you know you are actually ready for leadership?
Uh, we may not know. even if you know it doesn't matter because someone else has to put you in a leadership position. So uh, eventually, it's, I think, somewhere after working in the middle of your career or something like that, you should get onto some leadership positions and all to make an impact to the organization and people and really taste the fun of success, you know. Then
Hmm.
only you will make a huge impact. The larger the impact, the more happiness in the heart. So we'll eventually learn that. But there should also be an opportunity. For example, I never knew that I'm capable of doing this one and all, but it is the my boss who has recognized, my manager who has recognized that I may have a potential to do this one. And we had this conversation few times before I actually accepted that role. So someone else will put. However, to be fair, as they would say, luck is nothing but preparedness meeting an opportunity. They say, right? It's not about your star, what time you are born. Obviously, it's not about that. It's about your opportunity and then your preparedness. So if we are generally prepared for this and and be an informal leader in a way before someone would make you a manager. Whereas the organizations these days, the success of organization is not measured. The leadership quotient is not number of managers upon the total number of employees and all. It is the number of formal and informal leaders in the organization upon the total number of employees. That's the definition of leadership quotient now. Meaning you can be an informal leader, but five other people will follow you because all of you are enjoying cricket. But you are an informal leader there. You have nothing to do with the business or the technical knowledge that you are working under. But you have a common interest that you will share, but you may not be in the same group and all. But yeah, but they all come to you for doing it. You are an informal leader yourself. They have not designated you as a manager. So those are kind of things that you can always try your leadership. And then when there's an opportunity, I think people will recognize some of these traits when you're doing as an informal leader and all that. It gets noticed. We think that sitting inside the four walls, nobody will take notice, karke, but there'll be always so many people will take notice of everybody when you will walk out. So when you do things, how you are doing things and all that, how you are behaving, especially on the soft skills side and all, not your expert skills, but on the power skills. Uh, People will like what you do. People will like about your communication. People will like about how you dress. People will like about what you do at your work. How are you treating your own other colleagues? People will recognize how much hard work you do creating value for the organization and helping. There are several factors that people will notice. And I think you eventually everybody will get an opportunity. So if you are good, I got an opportunity. I never thought that I'll become a general manager, but someone else tapped. So likewise, I believe if you're doing all right things to serve others, put others before you and do your work, I think you will be recognized. And then you will become a leader.
Wonderful. I think one theme I'm keep hearing throughout, our conversation since last, I would say 45 minutes is, that leadership is not about doing more, but it's about, enabling more. So I
Enabling
think
more.
that idea has surfaced repeatedly in different ways, and I think this is one of the most valuable takeaway from our today's conversation. So Ramam, before we conclude, I would like to ask one final question to you. If our audience, remember just one mindset shift from today's conversation, what would you want it to be?
What would I want me to be? Or I didn't
What
understand.
would you want it to be? Would you want them to remember? If one mindset you want shift from today's conversation, you want our audience to remember.
Uh, be humble if you want to be a good leader. Okay. Because leadership is all about influence. And the higher you grow, the more humble you should become in order to grow as a leader. So that's what I would say. And we said people will see what you not outside of your room. Also, people will watch. If I may, if you give me a chance to say a second thing, then do what you say and say what you do. This is very important. Huh? That you say something and do something else, and all people will never trust you. So, do what you say and say what you do is a very important principle that one should follow in the professional environment. Then only people will trust you, then you'll be a very good leader.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words, if I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's, I think, wonderful, Ramam. Thank you so much. Your insights today have been thoughtful, practical, and deeply authentic. So, I know our audience will leave with plenty to reflect on, and not only about leadership, but about their own professional journey. Because even when I am having this conversation with you, I was reflecting on a lot of things, right? So when you
Mhm.
were thinking of what today's Ramam will, advise to the Ramam who was stepping into the leadership role, I was thinking about myself too, right? And might be those ideas were resonating at that time. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of, I think a
Mhm.
lot of reflection was involved in today's conversation. And as we wrap up, I would like to leave everyone with some key messages or reflections from today's conversation. And I think those reflections might help us in moving on later on in our career in the leadership role if we're going to transform, and if we are in the leadership role, so we make you we it might be helpful for us that expertise creates the opportunities, but leadership actually multiplies the impact. So that's actually the massive impact we can make as leaders. And great leaders, I think, stop measuring success by their own achievements, but
Yeah.
they begin measuring success through the growth, the confidence, and accomplishment of their teams. And I think leadership is not simply the promotion of skills, it's the transformation of identity we get, right? And then we should start resonating with it actually. So that's, I think, some minor reflections from my end from these conversations that might be help us in reflecting on this conversation. So, to everyone who joined us today, thank you for spending your time with us. We truly appreciate your participation and engagement. If today's conversation resonates with you, we encourage you to continue reflecting on your own leadership journey. Share your key takeaways with us in the comments and connect with us on YouTube at Conversation with Shenila, and keep an eye out for the future conversations and the episodes we're going to have, where we will continue discussing and exploring the ideas that shape better leaders and stronger organizations. So, Ramam, thank you so much once again for your generosity, your wisdom, and for sharing your
Mhm.
experience so openly. It has been an absolute pleasure having you with us, and to everyone watching. Remember, leadership is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about helping others discover what they can be. And I think that is a huge sacrifice, right? When an expert transform their role into the leader made. And I think Ramam has a very good, I would say, perspective towards it. So until next time, I'm Sheila Mahani. Thank you for joining the conversation with Shenila. Keep learning, keep leading, and keep the conversation going. Bye and take care.
Thank you, Shenila.